and it's not so bad. Hopefully no one will get a seizure. Okay, so type on a path, very important. So there is your regular old type on a path versus warped text. First, let's talk about type on a path, because there's a relationship between the two of them, but they're not the same. In order to create type on a path, there's more than one method. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a piece of area type. The box is now created for the type, but I need to make it bigger so that it's going to be readable. And let's make it larger. All right, and I'll just copy and paste that. All right, so I have a few lines of text in a box, but I'm now going to decrease the size of the box, but not too small. And now I'm going to create a line, and if I had an existing shape already, this is important because I see some things around the room that relate to this. So if I had a shape, such as some kind of a existing shape that's maybe a banner type shape. I'm doing this kind of rapidly here just to make a shape. Okay. So there's my shape, and I want my path, my text in my path to follow this shape. Give it a yellow color, and I'll cut the type, and I'll select the shape, and I'll go Command F. Because I selected, or I created the text first, I wanted to make sure it would be on top of the shape and not behind it. This is kind of a lot of type for type on a path, but it's something you should know how to do. So I'm selecting the type because I can see that it probably could be a little larger, and I made it a little larger. All right, now, if you already have a shape, there's the shape, and you might want it to follow this existing shape. The way to do that is to select this line. Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to click on all these points. One point, this is using the white arrow or the direct selection tool. I'm going to select on each one of these points. I've now done that. And I'm going to go Command C to copy and paste, Command V, and it looks like I have a funky shape, which I kind of do. But if I switch this to just be a line, you can see that's what it leaves, this line, which I'll change its color so you can see it is not brown. It is outlined with brown, dark brown, and filled with none. So it's kind of low. I'll move it up. Going back to the regular selection tool to move it up. So this is almost what I want this shape to do. I want it to come in here, and when I put my type on there, I want it to follow that. I do not need this piece here, so I'll select that point and press the delete key. And I do not need this side, so I'll select that top point, and now I'll try this crazy thing I'm about to do. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to select all the type, and I'm going to copy it, Command C. And I do this because in case something messes up, I'll always have this paragraph typed perfectly over here, and I'm not deleting it, but I am going to go to the type tool and look for this type called Type on Path tool. There it is, Type on Path tool. Now selecting the Type on the Path tool, and I'm coming over to the path itself and clicking on it. I have now clicked on it, and if I paste right now, I can tell something bad is going to happen, but I'm going to do it anyway. Command V. Okay, what the heck? Since I used the bottom of the line of the shape, my type is upside down. That is not as big a scary thing as it seems. If I come over to this little line with a white box on it and I pull up, if I pull up, try it again, this little line here and pull up, now the type is going the right way. See, it's now up on the right way. But this little plus situation is also telling me that there's more text than is showing in here. So Again, if I click, this is very hard to see, but I'm sliding this little handle around, undo a couple times here, moving the position of the type. And I'm going to zoom in closer because you can't see and I can't see. All right, so it says the, and then the rest of the type is hanging here. There's a line at the end. When I start sliding this line, it's actually opening up the space that the type fits on. Got me? See what's going on there? I know it's weird, okay? Strange because we have this multi-line thing. This is not the easiest thing to do because it's multi-line. So if I continue to, let's move the shape out of the way there because it's just giving me a problem. If I continue to move this little line, I can fit more text on here, or can I? Less, click on it, more. Okay, so it's not showing me anymore. But if I click on this little plus, I just clicked on it, that little red plus, and I click and drag, I now have more text. You notice how there's a line there, and that line is going from the end of this sentence to the beginning of that paragraph, telling me that the text is linked or threaded. This is called the thread. That's the text thread. You with me? So not that easy thing to do, multiple text on a path. What I can do now, however, is select all this text and cut it. Now, in this moment, I'm about to tell you a really important thing. Okay? Even though I just copied or cut the text that I need, you see that the red box is gone. Are you with me? This is a weird thing. It was one of the hardest things for me to grasp when I first started to work with Illustrator. Because I have the ability to press the Option key and copy this line, I now have a line that I copied, but without using Command-C. I did it with the Option key. So now when I select the line and I paste, there's the next line of text. This is tricky stuff, guys. Okay? Select the line, Option drag it down. This is one of the most important reasons to know that Option drag makes a copy. Select. Now I have an issue because essentially really what I need to do is get rid of the text that exists and delete it. So now I have all three lines of text. They are not linked together. They are separate elements. So if I want this sentence to start with the word come, I need to come over here and remove the word come from there. Make sense? All right, so now I have the text pretty well set where I want, and I can drop these lines into the shape however they need to go.
So shift return.
Isn't that so sad? Yes, it will not. If I do this, I click over here, I go shift return, I get nothing. Okay? Because this is what would be considered text on a line or inline text, and what it's really needs to be is an area for text. But to make a text box that's an area and make it a curve is not really an easy thing to do in Illustrator. But the good news is that you can do it, and then the other bad news is this is not something you can really do very easily in InDesign. So people ask me all the time, like, what are some of the intricate differences between InDesign and Illustrator? One, as I think I mentioned last week, is that InDesign is really made for multiple page layouts, and B, Illustrator gives you controls like this. So putting text on a path, if you just have a path, so here's a path, here's the path tool, I'm creating a line, okay, it's a wavy line, and now I want to stop drawing the line, so I'm going to press escape there, and I clicked by accident. So now there's the line, and then selecting this weird shape, giving it just a line and no fill. With me, breathe, breathe. Type tool, type on a path, come to the edge of the path and click, and text on a path. If I want the text to be larger, I can select the text and use the up arrow key until it follows along the path that I need it to go on. And I can also click away, click on the path itself, click on the handles for the path, and change the way the path is going. It's not a good change, but a really nice way to get a good smoother path is to go into the pencil tool, and there is a tool called the smooth tool. This tool, the smooth tool, is your friend. This tool is extremely helpful in a lot of cases, such as drawing, and now it doesn't like my text anymore, but I don't believe you. It also probably has too many points. There we go. Now it's smoothing out. I'm trying to not be offended by the fact that it wants to cut off my text. But I'm just running this tool on the curve, and it's making it much more smooth. All right, so now it doesn't want to show me all my text, which is bad. So one of the solutions to that is to try to remove points or change the curvature. Or click on the type with the regular selection tool. Find those little wacky marks I was showing you about, and right now this one is just kind of stuck over here, and I'm sliding it around. I will not lie to you, finding those little tiny lines that you're like, what the heck are you clicking on, Abigail? That is a hard thing to do. It does take practice. You have to see there's these little weird lines here, and you slide them. That's the end of type, and that's the beginning of type. So lastly, if you want your type to be on a circle, which a lot of people do, they want their type to be on a perfect circle or an ellipse. Again, what you may have noticed that's happening is the fill is going away as soon as I start typing on the path. So type on a path. You can also take a look that your type is going to be aligned the way you want. Here I'm going to paragraph, and I'm going to center it instead of aligning it left. Clicking on the path now. As I start typing, it looks like the type is going to be on the bottom. I won't let it stay on the bottom. I'm going to just type around and around. Okay. Go to the regular selection tool, and there is the handles. This is the center handle of the type. Click, find this little weird handle, click and drag, and you can flip the type up and down. Okay, and in and out, and I want it up. Come on, baby. All right, sometimes I just do it part way, and then I relax for a second. And select, and click, and drag it around, moving it around. So it can take some effort sometimes to get it to go where you want. Right, and last thing, because I feel like I've talked enough about this topic, is you can also copy this circle. Again, here's what would happen if the type was inside and at the bottom. Now the type is pulled down and inside. Okay. And here, if I put it back, you can see. You will probably, if you have type on the bottom and top of something, have to adjust it a couple of times, and you will definitely need more than one duplicate of the shape that you're creating the type to go around. Like I've done here, I have two exactly the same circles. Okay, so there is type on an ellipse. Okay, so that is type on a path.